Taking three.
Going for the singles now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your two?
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course. And today I have an incredible replay to show you. This is a replay actually submitted by one of our subscribers. So thank you very much for submitting it. The World of Warships name is SolHN. I'm going to call him Solon. I do apologize if that is a mispronunciation and if I have offended you. But thank you, Solon, very much for submitting the replay today. We can see that today he is in his Isokaze, and we are on Solomon Islands. When I received the replay in my email, it was pointed out to me that, Solon isn't the best destroyer player, and I would have never guessed that had I not, had he not written that in the email for me to know. Because frankly, I was watching this replay here, and it is spectacular. You would assume by watching this replay that Solon is a pretty masterful destroyer player, but in fact he says he's not. But this was his biggest grossing game in terms of damage done so far. So spectacular game, and we're about to see it here as well. So moving into the battle, we can see that we are, like I said, on Solomon Islands in the Isokaze, and it's the 2 cap point version, right? You each have your base, each have to defend the base, and obviously cap the enemy base. So Solon's moving into the middle of Solomon Islands, is typically where the B point would be. Sort of checking things out, right? Lining up some torpedoes in case something is to pop out. Just seeing what's going on, which is probably a good play in a destroyer, to come to the middle portion like this. I know I typically tend to avoid this area just because it's too crazy for me. And you can see Solon does basically the same thing. I mean, he launches off some speculative torpedoes, right, just in case something does happen to come in there, and then moves away. And this is totally fine to do at these lower tier destroyers, or if you have a destroyer that has a really quick rate of reload on the torpedoes. Typically, like, if you're in a tier 7 Hatsuero, for example, you've got a minute reload on that, so you probably won't send out speculative torpedoes right at the beginning like this. You still could, though, I guess, now that I'm saying it. Whatever. Torpedoes are reloaded, and we're moving into the northern part of the map, where the A point typically would be, and we see some enemies popping up. Alright, so we're going to launch, we're going to line up torpedoes, right? Try and get in range here. Unfortunately, this Omaha guy, a little bit of an issue, but whatever. Enemies are coming around the turn here, and this is the best spot for a destroyer on this map, I find, because these enemies just come barreling around this little headland here, and it's like they don't even expect torpedoes. And I've done it before myself. I've shown those videos in Ever Wonder episodes where I come around and I just get torpedoed right away. Yep, happens all the time. There's the Omaha again. What in the hell, buddy? Oh well, whatever. Solon just, throws it in reverse, gets out of here, and gives this player a wide berth. There are 2 torpedo hits, so that is great. Those are the first 2 we have. And we have gotten rid of that enemy cruiser. It's just this enemy battleship remaining here. I think that is the tier 4 Izuchi, the premium Japanese battleship at tier 4. I believe that's what that is. That, or it's a stock Congo. I couldn't really see the number of turrets on the rear there anyway. Smoke is out, so we know there's a destroyer. There's a destroyer right there. Sizing up the rest of the enemies, though, right? I mean, especially at this northern part of the map, you can't necessarily be too focused on just a singular enemy, as there will be lots of enemies popping up around the corner and in and out of smoke, because, inevitably there's going to be destroyers up here popping smoke, and you're not going to see all the enemies all the time. There is the first kill. Fantastic. That was an enemy destroyer, and got a devastating strike on it as well. So excellent job there. And again, once you get that kill, you just size up the next target. See what you've got out there. Firing off some guns at that battleship. Why the hell not, right? He's farther away. There's enemies that are further away. No big deal. Those torpedoes, the enemy torpedoes we just saw, I was so convinced that they were going to hit this battleship right here. Luckily they don't. That is great. More coffee. And now Solon is just sort of circling around, lining up maybe another attack run here on those enemies in the north, going into the rear of the island here, just again sizing it up, see what's what. Keeping in mind that the objective in this battle mode is to cap the enemy base, right? Yes, you can kill all the enemies, and that will win, but that's not necessarily the objective. The objective, right, is the base itself. If you can't get the base, then you resort to killing all the enemies to get your victory. But ideally, you want to try and get that base first, or, well, make that your priority, I should say. You can go into battles wanting to kill everyone. I've done it before. But I just find those battles, I play really aggressively at times and take some chances that I wouldn't normally take, and you know, those chances don't always pan out for me. As a result, you will see those replays in Ever Wonder. The video series that makes you laugh, yes. Now, the northern point, where A would be, is more or less controlled by Solon's teammates now, right? There's 2 enemy ships up there remaining, so yeah, whatever. We're gonna cruise down to the B cap point now. We're gonna see what other enemies exist around here, and you know what damage we can do. There's an enemy destroyer right there. I think it's another Isokaze, in fact. And Solon, if you noticed, fired torpedoes at where the enemy was going to be, but then also took some speculative shots in case he turned. Yes, very important to do as well, and it works out. There we go. There's a hit on the Isokaze. Isokaze is almost dead. I mean, that torpedo almost took him out entirely. I think if it would have hit him midships, yeah, he'd probably be dead in that one torpedo shot. Anyway, that enemy destroyer does launch his smoke. So, yeah, he disappears and we can't see him right now, but not necessarily a big concern because he's on such low health at this point. He just took that torpedo hit, so as soon as he pops up, either Solon here is going to kill him or another ally is going to kill him. Fortunately, Solon does see him pop up again. I believe it's because he had his anti-aircraft guns on. Yeah. So that's something you do want to be aware of, even at these lower tiers. You know, if you're on really low health and you're trying to run away, in some smoke, turn off those anti-aircraft guns. Even though Solon didn't get a hit, when he saw the Isokaze pop up again, still very dangerous, and that other enemy Isokaze just got lucky in the fact that Solon didn't hit him and kill him. But that's coming, don't worry. Circling back, moving back towards the B point now. I find this sort of strategy of circling around in one area waiting for enemies to come to you, I find this is a really viable strategy for a lot of different situations. I use it all the time, especially when you know, you're in a destroyer or a cruiser and things are getting pretty heavy and a lot of people are shooting at you. I find if I just drive in a circle, as simple as it sounds, it really does work in your favor. It makes it harder for the enemies to hit you. Meantime, if your turrets are going to turn fast enough, you're able to continue to put shots into the enemies while they're trying to aim on you as you're doing your circles, right? So it is really a viable strategy just to circle around, and I would highly recommend doing it, especially when you're at the point where maybe you just finished an engagement with someone or you just killed someone. The Isokaze over there burning. Oh yeah. But you know, once you're done with that engagement with an enemy, or you're sort of reassessing the battle, do a circle. Do a circle. Wait to see if any enemies are going to come to you if you're on one of those points in the map where you know people are going to conglomerate. You know, it's a really good strategy. Let the enemy come to you. You know, you don't always have to hunt down the enemies, and that being said, you know, it brings in the whole element of when to recognize, you know, to circle around, let the enemies come to you, or versus, you know, when to just go all out on the attack. Unfortunately, I can't really say any definite answers on that one. You know, it's really going to come down to you, what your comfort level is, what your confidence level is in that game, and how the game is playing out. Things you need to be aware of when you're making those decisions. Anyway, Solon has moved into the middle of the map, essentially. Launched off more torpedoes. We've got some torpedoes going off for the Kuma and some more torpedoes going off for the battleship over there. South Carolina is what that is. And he's going in reverse. Yeah, strange, I know. But whatever. To each their own. These damn islands just keep popping out of nowhere for no reason at all. No reason at all. But luckily, you know, Stolen takes it in stride here and just moves along. That South Carolina that was going in reverse got very lucky. You'll notice that he almost did get hit by those torpedoes, just they ran out of their range just before they'd hit him. Yeah, that was unfortunate. I really would have liked to see that guy go down. Maybe teach him, you know, why the hell are you reversing in an open channel? But whatever. Solon's not fazed by any of this, obviously. He's just, you know, now pushing over onto the enemy side. You can see that the allies from the north have cleared out the north or chased away the enemies in the north and are now pushing south into the enemy base. They're almost there. So Solon's going to meet up with these people and, you know, try and start capping the base. In the meantime, being aware of the enemies that are now coming back to defend the base. You can see them out here, a number of enemy ships. I think it's a bunch of cruisers and a battleship in there as well. But this, again, I've talked about this before, but, you know, this is really what you want. This is an ideal situation here for this type of battle with the 2 cap points, in that you've had your little sorties here at the beginning. Each side has killed some enemy ships, but now, you know, it's more or less even. Who's going to make the push? Who's going to force the hand of the enemy team? Well, it's going to be Solon here and his allies, because by moving into the enemy base, you know, the enemies that are trying to attack your base now have a critical decision to make. Are they going to turn back, and are they going to defend their base, or are they going to continue the push and cap your friendly base, but risk, you know, not getting there in time, not capping it in time to actually get the victory? So this is, you know, ideal situation here. You can see the enemies that were in the southern tip of the map potentially would have moved up and tried to cap the allied base, now have made the decision of turning back to defend their cap. Because at this point, I mean, that is the right call as well, because at this point they almost have half the base capped out, and the enemies, you know, aren't even near the friendly base. So yeah, they have to turn back. Now, this is where the destroyer is going to come into its own. Yes, it is. It's also the point of the battle where things start to get a little crazier. I say that this is, you know, the part of the battle where the destroyer comes in its own, because now you're more or less waiting in ambush, lying in wait for the enemies to show up. You're in a destroyer, they're not going to be able to detect you until they're fairly close, so you get a really, really good opportunity here to start launching off torpedoes at the enemies as they come into the base to try and defend it. Ideally as well, you'd want the enemies to show up one at a time, so you can take them out one at a time. It does happen from time to time where enemies sort of line up, you know, and come in one at a time. Be aware, you know, if you're ever in that situation where you're coming back to your base to defend it, try not to show up one at a time. Try to coordinate with your allies a little, or at the very least be aware of what your allies are doing, and if you notice that there's an enemy or an allied ship coming back with you and you're ahead of that person, maybe try and slow down, let that person catch up and enter into the base together, or vice versa, that person is way ahead of you and you can't catch up. Maybe send them a message in chat, say, hey look, so and so, I'm coming back to help defend the base with you, slow down a bit, let me catch up. Right? That would be the ideal situation there. Solon, what he's doing now is hiding behind an island. Why the hell not? You can see the enemy base is almost capped out, right? They've almost have this. There is an allied battleship with him here as well, and the allied battleship is taking hits, and as a result, the cap points in this base are going down. It looked for a minute here when I was watching the replay, it looked like this was going to be the end, right? Moves in, caps it out. But I was also aware in the email Solon had mentioned that he does 109,000 damage in this battle. Oh yes, the exact number, 109,702 damage done in this battle. Amazing, amazing. At the tier 4 level 2 in an Isokaze, I know the Isokaze is amazing, right? It's more or less become the new Mine Kaze, or Mini Kaze, however you want to pronounce it, since they removed the 10-kilometer torpedoes from the Mini Kaze. So this Isokaze, not really surprised that it gets this amount of damage. but it is amazing to see when it happens. So here comes some enemies into the base. We've got two enemies. We've got, I think it's battleship over there, and we've got a cruiser. Yes. So we've launched torpedoes off at the battleship. We've also launched torpedoes at the cruiser. The torpedoes for the battleship are about to hit. There they go. 1 and 2, and that battleship is dead. Phenomenal. Excuse me. Phenomenal. That is the second kill for Solon now. And now there is this one enemy cruiser remaining in the cap. We do have some other enemies on the outside of their cap, but they're not actually in it as of yet. And keep in mind, if you're in a situation where you need to stop the enemy from capping your base right away, get yourself into cap, because it will stop the points from capping up, right? So that's what that enemy cruiser over there is doing, and doing it fairly successfully. I mean, they're not able to cap the base right now. What the enemy cruiser out there, though, isn't counting on is Solon. Yes. Again, he was hiding behind the island, and again he was unseen, and so again he's going to line torpedoes up on this unsuspecting enemy cruiser. Phenomenal. And again, destroyer coming into its own. The destroyer is more or less hidden. The enemy doesn't see it. Just launching torpedoes off at them, right? Just at these enemies, trying to get them gone. We've got this Kuma here. The Kuma is totally unsuspecting. And we've got some torpedoes on their way in. There's one hit, and so that was excellent. And hopefully, we can't get that second hit, but it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, that is the third kill. Fantastic. Love finishing people off with the guns on a destroyer. The irony there is just so awesome, right? By firing off the guns, though, you got to realize that you will become visible. That's what Solon has done here, but it doesn't matter. You can see the first enemy shot did take out the engine. Solon was able to repair it. Second enemy shot comes in. Yeah, not a big deal. Just take out some torpedoes and a gun turret, whatever. The torpedoes were already launched, so it doesn't matter. More torpedoes on the way. So we've got a Karlsruhe. There it is there. And I believe we have a South Carolina. I think so. Anyway, another battleship. This Karlsruhe, though, oh man, this guy. You'll know what I'm talking about here as the battle finishes up. There goes the enemy battleship, and now Solon has just achieved and given himself a high caliber and a Confederate. Oh yeah, that was awesome. So that enemy battleship now is on incredibly low health. He didn't actually die. I thought he did, but he's about to. He didn't actually die, but on very, very low health. Look at this torpedo lineup. I thought this was beautiful. I was confident that those torpedoes would not hit the island and would hit the Karlsruhe, but look at them go. Well, we'll see it here in a minute. They all hit the island. Look at that. I didn't expect that at all. Given the lead indicator there, I thought that they would have just sailed right past there. Would have been close, but would have got that Karlsruhe. Now we're sort of in a little duel with the Karlsruhe here, and the saving grace in all of this is this island. Yes, this island makes it, right? Just does it for us. So we do put a few shots in the Karlsruhe here, but it's hard to actually judge, the topography, of the island, right? You can't with the foliage there. You can't really tell if you're shooting into a hill or what's going on. Whatever. Coming around the island, and put some more torpedoes into this enemy battleship. It is a South Carolina, and wait for it. There we go. 4 kills now for Solon. 1 enemy ship remaining, just this Karlsruhe left, and then it is victory. You'll also notice in the chat that at this point, people on the team are congratulating Solon for a job well done. And yeah, it's great to see this sort of teamwork, sort of acknowledgement. It's really, really nice. I love seeing this positive feedback, this positive interaction between players. Not only is it great for morale, even though you're about to win, but it's really going to build up your confidence, build up that morale. Those torpedoes were so close. Damn that Karlsruhe. Builds up morale. And as you move into your next battle after this one, you're going to enter that battle with that confidence, that positive energy, and that good morale, and you might actually have another rockin' game. So there's a lot to be said about positive reinforcement, about positive communication, about having a positive community in the game we love so much. Unfortunately, Solon doesn't manage to survive that goddamn Karl Shrew, right? Karl Shrew, I don't know. Whatever it's called. Doesn't matter, though. Doesn't matter. Solon has contributed so much to this battle that it's done. They've won it. Look at the timer. It's going to come down to points here. They've got it. They win this battle. We're going to take a look at the overall results here shortly. Just flipping back to, I think it was the Wyoming on an allied Wyoming here. Just watching them cruise around, right? Just to briefly get back to the positive community engagement and attitude, I know it's hard sometimes. There are more idiots in this world than any one of us can fathom. Any one of us. You might think that the world is filled with 1 billion idiots. Well, times that number by 10, and you might be a little closer to it, but whatever. Victory over, or battle over, and victory achieved, 290,000 credits. Is that 10 torpedo hits, 5,000 experience. First overall on the team, obviously, and in fact, that is more than double the experience that the highest earning enemy earned on the other team. Fantastic. You can see the numbers here. We're looking at 702,000 damage. Did I say that right? I have no idea. Whatever. 109,000 damage. Look at the base experience. That is phenomenal. Walks away with well over 200,000 credits as well. Excellent game. Thank you so much for submitting it, letting us all take a look at this, and letting us all learn from this as well. Phenomenal. If you guys have any replays you want to send in, thotgor1@gmail.com. More than happy to take a look at them. More than happy to get an episode up on it as well. I thank you all so much for your time today, for sticking around, watching the video through. If you liked it, be sure to hit the old like button as well. Leave any comments you might have. Love reading and responding to those. And hit the subscribe button if you are not a subscriber as of yet. Thank you again for watching the video through. And as always, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.